In the most recent update of Limbus Company, we have been blessed by the return of one of the most broken factions in Library of Ruina, Full Stop Office. And once again, the members of this faction are wreaking havoc on the battlefield with their incredible firepower. Literally. The dynamic duo of Full Stop Heathcliff and Honglu is a fantastic upgrade to the Poise team, and the time has come for me to give them a proper review. In today's video, I want to take a look at the two newest identities and figure out their strengths and weaknesses, as well as how well they can go into different teams in Limbus Company. And if we're being real here, everybody knows that they're really strong, but still let me glaze them a little bit and show those of you who haven't gotten them just how strong they can be. But before we start, I have to tell you that most of my viewers are not subscribed. And if you find yourself coming back to my videos or end up enjoying this one, consider subscribing to never miss my new uploads. It takes just a second and helps me out a lot. Without further ado, let's get back to our marksman. We will start with Heathcliff, the relentless sniper who erases any pierce-weak enemy from existence with a single shot. His first skill is Return Fire, a 3-coin gloom skill, which is the only skill in his kit that has more than 1 coin. Return Fire rolls up to 14 and gives Heathcliff 2 poise count and 2 haste on use. The first coin also gives him 1 poise count, making the skill totally poise neutral. Also, every coin of the skill consumes 1 ammo, meaning you don't want to use the skill much, as Heathcliff will run out of ammo very quickly. Next up, Heathcliff's second skill is Headshot, a single coin envy skill that can reach 22 power. Much like Return Fire, Headshot gives Heathcliff 2 haste and 2 poise count on use, but this skill also gives him 3 poise potency on top of that. Another effect of Headshot is, of course, the first one. It deals 10% more damage per point of speed difference, when Heathcliff is faster than his target, capping out at 50%. Another damage modifier that stacks nicely on top of that is the first effect of Headshot's coin, which simply makes it deal 50% more damage on critical hit. Also, the coin spends 1 ammo and inflicts 1 pierce fragility on hit, and another stack of the effect on crit, though only the on hit infliction can be used more than once per turn. Heathcliff's strongest skill comes in 2 variants, going for Bullseye and Pulverization Round. We'll go through these skills one by one. Going for Bullseye is a single coin pride skill that can reach 26 power. This skill is available when Heathcliff uses his third skill with 0 stacks of ammo at Talia Logic. Much like Headshot, this skill deals more damage if Heathcliff is faster than his target. The on-use poise count gain was replaced for the skill with a simple 5 poise on use, and a much less simple effect of converting concentration into both poise potency and damage at the same time, which, by the way, caps out at 8 poise and 50% damage because concentration is kept at 4. After attack, the familiar plus 2 poise count comes back, making the skill poise positive as well. However, the single coin of the skill is where all the damage comes from. Immediately, it deals 80% more damage on a critical hit, which already means that the skill is dealing double damage, as the normal crit modifier is 1.2x. The crit damage is further increased based on the target's pierce resistance, with this effect providing an additional 100% damage bonus against enemies that are fatal to pierce, but only 25% against those who resist that damage. But of course, that's not enough, as Heathcliff gets a third crit damage boosting effect, which consumes up to 10 poise potency over 30 to deal plus 10% more damage per poise potency consumed, resulting in up to another 100% on top of the previous modifiers. And while this amount of effects is crazy, going for Bullseye is not even Heathcliff's strongest skill. His actual strongest skill is AL HV Pulverization Round, which is another single coin pride skill that reaches up to 33 power, which is kind of insane, and also actually gets a plus 6 offense level modifier, which I think makes the skill the first one to have over plus 5 in the game. This skill activates when Heathcliff's skill 3 is used while he has his stack of ammo at Talia Logic. This is very similar to going for Bullseye in terms of effects, but its numbers have been increased to deal even more damage. With the skill, Heathcliff gets double value from concentration turning into damage, gains more poise count after the attack, and deals more damage on a critical hit. If all of pulverization rounds conditionals are maxed out, it gets a total of plus 500% damage, meaning it deals 6 times its normal damage. However, to get to 500%, you will have to hit an enemy with a fatal resistance to pierce, so the damage is actually even higher. As for Heathcliff's defensive skills, let's just blitz through them. Combat Poise is an evade skill that requests a melee support attack from full stop Honglu, while giving Heathcliff poise and concentration. At 0 ammo, the skill turns into taking cover, which is a clashable guard that also requests a melee support attack and gives Heathcliff concentration, but it also inflicts pierce resist down instead of giving Heath poise. Lastly, we have Heathcliff's passives, of which he has a couple. His first passive is Snipe, and this ability pretty much frames the entirety of Heathcliff's behavior in combat. At encounter start, he gets 3 pierce power up and gains a single stack of ammo at Elia Logic. At turn end, if Heathcliff is fully out of ammo, he activates Overwatch assignment, which is something I'll explain right now so I don't have to come back to this later. Overwatch assignment is a state very similar to the Deviat's strategic R&R mode. At turn end, Heathcliff recovers from stagger and retreats from the encounter, giving up his slots to the next backup ID on the team, or if there is no backup identity, to the first deployed ally. If he returns to battle, he does so with the same HP and SP as when he left, unless his SP was below 0, in which case it resets to 0. Heathcliff also purges all negative effects on self. Now, while Heathcliff is off the field, he actually does much more than just sit and wait, but we'll get there when we talk about Honglu. Back to Heathcliff's passive, when he comes back to the field, he gains max concentration, 3 pierce power up, and reloads all his ammo except the Atelier Logic bullet. Heathcliff's second passive requires 2 Pride Resonance, and it gives him 1 haste per 10 poise on self, up to 2. It also gives an ally poise if Heathcliff isn't set to use any attacks during a turn, and gives him 10 poise and 1 pierce power up after not using any attacks for a turn. And his support passive is pretty much made to buff full stop Honglu, as Heathcliff allows him to gain a lot more poise count when consuming ammo. Now, full stop Heathcliff is definitely one of the better identities in the game, as his insane damage is more than enough to close out any pierce weak encounter much quicker than usual. We'll get into Heathcliff's incredible strength after I finish with Honglu though, as a lot of his damage actually comes from unique abilities that allow Heathcliff to use a lot more skills in one turn than he would on his own. However, what I can say about him is that even on his own, full stop Heathcliff is definitely a unit worth using in poise, simply due to the fact that he does ludicrous damage, and poise not only doesn't require any specific setup to be good, but actually lacks strong options for a full team, meaning there is no reason to not put Heathcliff on your poise team. Next up, we have full stop Honglu, the second half of this dynamic duo. Unlike Heathcliff, Honglu takes the approach of more coins equals good, with all of his normal skills having 3 coins, and his skill 2 and 3 being able to go up to 4 coins under certain conditions. Honglu's first skill is Take the Shot. It's a 3 coin sloth skill that reaches 12 power and gives Honglu 3 poise count on use. Every coin of the skill spends 1 ammo, and the second one also gives Honglu 2 poise potency. Honglu's melee support skill can also be found under his skill 1. This is what Honglu uses when Heathcliff requests a melee support with his defensive skill. This skill deals slash and pride damage, reaches 13 power, deals 20% more damage on critical hit, and gives Honglu 2 poise count. The coins of the skill do not consume ammo, and give Honglu 1 poise each. Honglu's second skill is Target Marked, and this one is a 3 coin Gloom skill that reaches a standard 16 power. The skill gains base power by the amount of ammo that is about to be used by its coins, and every point of the highest resonance this turn adds a 25% chance that Target Spotted will be activated. And this is a great time to explain Target Spotted to you. This effect can only be activated by full stop Honglu when full stop Heathcliff is on the field. When it's activated, At Honglu's attack end, Heathcliff follows up with an unopposed use of his skill 2, Headshot. The skill 2 used this way is completely free and detached from Heathcliff's skill order, meaning target spotted is a fantastic way to let Heathcliff use far more headshots than usual with no drawback at all. But before we can truly marvel at the power of this effect, I have to finish touching up on Honglu's skills. On use, target marked also gives Honglu plus 3 poise count, making up for the 3 coins of the skill. The first coin of Honglu's skill 2 simply gives him 2 poise, while the second one spends up to 3 ammo and increases its damage by 10% per ammo spent, with that effect doubled on critical hit. The third coin deals 20% more damage on crit and inflicts bind and attack power down next turn, greatly weakening one opponent. This skill also has an empowered version, but we'll get there a bit later. Honglu's skill 3 is Full Stop to Life, a 3-coin pride skill that reaches 19 power without conditionals. The base power of this skill is once again increased by 1 for every ammo about to be consumed by this skill's coin effects. On use, as long as Full Stop Heathcliff is on the field, Full Stop to Life always activates target spotted. It also gives Honglu 5 poise, and after Clash win, the skill gives plus 2 poise count as well. The first 2 coins of the skill spend ammo to deal more damage, and also raise the target's stagger threshold by 15% of damage dealt. The first coin only spends 1 ammo, but the second one can spend up to 2. The third coin makes use of the increased thresholds, as it deals 30% more damage on crit if the target is staggered. The coin also inflicts 2 bind and 2 pierce fragility. Full Stop to Life also gets an empowered variant, but we'll get there when we talk about Honglu's passives. Much like Heathcliff, Honglu gets 2 defensive skills. Combat Poise is an evade that gives Honglu 1 poise whenever he evades an attack, up to 5 times per turn. At 0 ammo, Combat Poise turns into Beyond the Shadow, a clashable counter with a power of 13. This skill deals 20% more damage on crit, gives Honglu 2 poise count, and at turn end allows him to reload all his ammo once per encounter. The 2 coins of the skill also give him 1 poise each. Much like Heathcliff, Honglu has 2 passives. His first passive is Concentration, and it allows Honglu to not lose coins whenever he's out of ammo. Instead, all that happens is the on-hit effects associated with the ammo-consuming coins do not activate. Honglu's second passive is Tactical Fire Support, and it requires 5 pride resources. This passive gives Honglu plus 1 poise count at combat start when he has 20 or more poise potency, but much more importantly, it empowers his skills 2 and 3 when Full Stop Heathcliff is an Overwatch assignment. The empowered skills both gain a 4th unbreakable coin with bonus damage effects, which are supposed to mirror those of headshots and pulverization rounds coins. In fact, if you have enough ammo to hit the maximum power bonus for both skills, their force coins will be equal to or better than headshot and pulverization round, as the last coin of combo target marked reaches 23 power, and the last coin of combo Full Stop to Life reaches 26. Honglu's support passive is Suppressing Fire, and all it does is increase the damage of ammo spending skills by 10% for one ally with the most ammo. And finally, now that we're done with their skills, let's take a look at just how strong the Full Stop Heathcliff plus Honglu duo really is. First of all, I just want to say that these identities are incredibly well designed. The way their abilities complement each other is just fantastic, and in my eyes, the new Full Stop IDs are some of the most fun units you can use in Limbus Company, and they're uniquely synergetic but also very powerful, and have some great looking skill animations all in one. To show how well they synergize, let's look at a theoretical skill sequence in a random turn when going up against a boss. If Honglu has 2 skill slots, a sequence of headshot into Full Stop to Life into target marked is perfectly possible, and results in a lot of synergy. First, Heathcliff uses Headshot, which crits and inflicts 2 stacks of pierce fragility on the enemy. Then, Honglu uses Full Stop to Life, which deals 20% more damage due to the fragility, and inflicts 2 more pierce fragility to get the stack up to 4. Then, Target Spotted is activated, and Heathcliff hits another headshot on the enemy, now with 40% extra damage from the Pierce Fragility stack. He also proceeds to inflict one more Pierce Fragility, getting the stack up to 5. Next, Honglu uses Target Marked, which deals tremendous damage due to the 50% damage bonus from Pierce Fragility. And then, if the rest of the team has managed to create a long enough resonance chain, Target Spotted is activated once more, allowing Heathcliff to hit yet another headshot on the enemy, now with 50% extra damage from the Fragility. If the enemy is somehow not dead by then, the Fragility lingers and can be used by the rest of the team to deal bonus damage and finish the opponent off. Of course, in most boss fights, you will not get 2 skill slots on Honglu unless you give someone else up, in which case you will struggle with making resonance chains. And I'll admit, I added Target Marked to really sell their compatibility, but in reality, a simple headshot into full stop to life is a combo that you can get very often, and is enough to pretty much duo win a lot of encounters. Another point of great design is Honglu's Tactical Fire support passive. While Heathcliff is an absolutely oppressive damage dealing monster, he cannot stay on the field forever. But losing the synergy of the dynamic duo mid-fight would feel pretty lame, considering how well the two IDs work together when they're both on the field. To combat this, Project Moon have found a way to let Heathcliff effectively shoot from the bench without actually creating new effects. I find this to be a great way to allow the player to use the duo even in longer encounters, while still making the team slightly weaker after Heath runs out of ammo. But I don't think it takes a genius to see that the two new identities work well together and deal a lot of damage, which is why I want to move on to looking at how Heathcliff and Honglu perform in different teams, and how well the two of them can synergize with other cores without taking away a team's strengths. The first team full stop IDs should be used on is very clearly Poise. These IDs stack that effect, and also possess pride skills and defenses, making them great fits for the team. Another reason why Heathcliff and Honglu are perfect for Poise is the fact that Poise as a team kind of lacked some good options. The first 3 spots surely went to Blade Lineage Mersault, Yi-Sang and Dawn, but everything after that was a lot more of a toss-up. I personally used to run those 3 alongside Blade Lineage Faust, as well as Butler Roshu and Sing Sinclair, but some people went for Pecot Captain Ishmael, who's also a good pick for the team. However, all of these picks aren't exactly super powerful identities that fulfill a necessary role in the team. They're just identities that interact with the effect and seem better than other choices. However, now that the full stop identities are out, we have much clearer options for 2 of those slots, with Heathcliff and Honglu having enough poise generation to not put strain on Dawn's skill effects and dealing tremendous damage, which lets them outshine every other option by a large margin. The introduction of full stop into Poise also makes the team a lot less flash-centered, with the strongest damage dealers on the team now being mono Pierce identities. You can lean further into Pierce with Sinclair or Ishmael, or try to remain focused on Slash with Faust or Roshu, depending on the encounter. Outside of Poise, other teams don't work so well for the full stop identities, but there is still an option for using these IDs in a team that isn't Poise. This alternative option is not actually that far-fetched, as you can add full stop Heathcliff and Honglu to Bleed in order to create a very strong Pierce damage team. Simply combine the core of Bleed, that being Ring Yi-Sang, Manager Dawn, Princess Rodion and Priest Gregor, with the full stop duo, and you'll get a team with insane Pierce damage that comes online very quickly due to the innate SP recovery in the Bleed core. A team like this can be used to win rate speedrun any Pierce weak human encounter without having to stack any kind of effect, as the full stops get a ton of poise on their own, and Gregor provides enough Blood Fist for Dawn to turn it into a spammable, high attack weight, second skill. Now, other teams really don't synergize with full stop, but you can still use the identities pretty much anywhere. If you don't care about stacking and just want to clear simple encounters very quickly, the dynamic duo can provide more than enough raw damage to rip through pretty much any encounter that doesn't double resist their damage types. And on that note, I want to end my overview of the full stop office identities added in Walpurgisnacht 5. I think they're absolutely awesome, and you definitely should go $1,000 in depth just to get them. If you want to see a big post team guide like the one I did with Bleed, do tell me in the comments, as I've started to see some comments asking me for exactly that, and I'm thinking about making such a guide in about a week or so. If you enjoyed the video at any point, consider leaving a like to let me know, and subscribing to my channel to never miss my new uploads. If you don't agree with me or have something to add, definitely leave your insight in the comment section below, and I'll gladly hear you out. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye!